A business owner buys something for his business only for one of two things. Either पैसा बचाने या पैसा बनाने. बिजनेस ओनर्स की सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है कि खुद से बात ही नहीं करते. तो अपने फायदे अपने क्लाइंट से सीखना इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन इमेजिनिंग दैट यू हैव दैट. Nike. Okay? Only shoes business, right? So normally they believed in having only stores. So with the changing world, people started buying online. You can order online from there itself in the store. There are 5 things which you have to take a decision of to be able to for your business to reach. If I'm, let's say, selling a Mont Blanc pen, I'm going to charge ₹1,00,000, but 10 rupees ka pen also sells in the market. When I buy a Mont Blanc pen, I don't buy pen, I buy the esteem. Rolls-Royce does not exhibit its cars in shows which are with car shows. Rolls-Royce only exhibits its cars where there are actually people, so where there are private jet trade shows, where people are going, exhibitions of yachts, exhibitions of private jets. That is where Rolls-Royce takes a stall in or takes place and exhibits.
Hello viewers, thank you for joining me again. Today I want to introduce you to King of Networking. I know him more than 13 years now. I've learned a lot of things from him. He has trained more than 100,000 people in 10 plus countries. And if you talk about continents, he has trained all the continents we were counting before the podcast. I think Australia is pending, so Australians, please call him. So all 7 continents are there then. And he has team of 60 directors and they weekly impact 6,000 plus entrepreneurs and their families. It's a big work. Entrepreneur journey is a lonely journey. And most of entrepreneurs start their journey fighting with the family and the wife. No one wants us to be an entrepreneur. And then in those lonely journeys, there are few people or few organizations who stand strong. And Bharat Daga, BNI is what it does. Gives you a powerful hand so you can grow your life. Have a powerful friends who are growth hungry. That's BNI all about. Bharat has worked on international bodies of BNI where it was called Innovative Task Force, and that task force used to decide how BNI internationally will grow. He has immense experience with business strategy, networking, and if you really love making a lot of money, the right strategies can definitely make that happen. So this podcast can change your life. So be with us and let's listen to Bharat. One very interesting thing, Bharat is author of 3+ books. He's writing 2 more books right now. And one of the book I heard, which we'll confirm with him, is with the founder of BNI, Ivan Meisner. So we'll talk to him about that book too. And let's welcome him first. Thank you, Bharat, for joining in on the show.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's great to be here.
So first thing which I heard that you're writing a book with Ivan also. So
yes, actually that's a fact. We've been working on a book with Ivan since I guess about a year. It's 3 of us who are working together and it's in the finishing stages is all I can say. Hope to be publishing it very soon, releasing it very soon. And of course, we need your help for that when it comes to it.
I would love to read that book, Bharat, because I know your network is your net worth. But I want to know your journey, how you came to entrepreneurship. As I was sharing with most of us who are entrepreneurs, had to fight with families to become an entrepreneur because we're good in jobs. Second thing which I realized is entrepreneurship is not taught anywhere in the school and colleges. And I read your book, It Starts With You, so I know a little bit about that. I want you to share your journey of entrepreneurship.
Okay, so I was lucky if you think about it, Kailash. I was born in a family of business owners. So yes, they used to work earlier, but then they dabbled in business. So I joined my father's business immediately after graduation. So, I thought post-graduation, koi farak nahi padta. Ja rahe hai. I mean, I was that vain that I applied only to the IIMs after graduation, that if I get in, well and good, I'll go study further. Otherwise, I'll join my father's business. Practical training lege, we'll do.
And what year was that when you joined?
Oh God, I'm very bad at years, but it was...
Approximately.
So when I was as soon as I finished my college, so BCom khatam karne ke liye, honestly, don't go in years. I'm very bad at it. I don't even remember when I graduated.
And I don't want audience to guess your age.
Yeah, that also. I mean, it looks a little too old, So that way, I agree.
ये बाल हमने धूप में सफेद नहीं की, ये बहुत एक्सपीरियंस है इसके पीछे.
दोनों चीजें हैं, धूप में भी बहुत घूमे, बिकॉज एज यू नो आई वन ऑफ माई फेवरेट थिंग्स इज ऑलवेज सेल्स एंड मार्केटिंग. और सेल्स एंड मार्केटिंग अकॉर्डिंग टू मी ठीक है, ऑफिस में बैठे बैठे होता है, पर लोगों से मिलके ज्यादा होता है. यू गेट मोर दिस थिंग बाय मीटिंग पीपल. एंड सो येस, आई वुड से दोनों का वो है. कुछ कुछ धूप में सेके, कुछ टेंशन में सेके, स्ट्रेस में सेके, और कुछ अपने आप हो गए विद एज. सो आई गेस लाइक दैट इज व्हाट आई वुड से. So that is was my beginning of the journey. But अगर देखा जाए तो that I would say the best thing I learned in that journey was how to close your bets, and it's okay to fail.
Wow.
Because that was shut down.
Can you repeat that? It's okay to fail?
It's okay to fail.
Wow.
If you are in business, it doesn't happen that हर चीज सही होगी. Or business owner is not worried about the fact that something is not working. He's more worried about is what next can I get to work with. And that's, I think, the biggest learning I got from that at that time, because we were close to bankrupt. My father left the business. He was basically more of a, let me put it, he was a huge, he was a president of companies. He was so used to dealing at large scales. So a small scale industry probably was not the right place for him under any circumstances. But I think he wanted to dabble in entrepreneurship also. वो मारवाड़ी खून, I guess. Yes. So he went, he tried it didn't work. So he's there, and that's when I had nothing to do. And that's why I'm lucky, I would say, that I had nothing to do, because that's when I experienced a lot of businesses, one after the other. Okay, so from there I straight away went into, with a friend of mine, into import export, all kinds of stuff. We tried to import export, made a lot of mistakes. We realized that this game, maybe we were a little too early in it. We were talking about barges. We were actually sending barges of things to Dubai and bringing barges of things from Middle East into India, and we got stuck in a big deal, which was a big wake-up call, and that we are not at the right this thing. He went on to become a consultant, a business coach, and I went on to next thing. So after that, of course, when you need things, the first people who step up, now once again, networking linked with this is, friends, family, and then people who know you through family or friends is the people who step up. And so that was my first step up. After that, I went into, there was a friend of my father's. He was into floppy diskets. I think half the people won't even know what a floppy diskette is today. It was I went into computer, usables, developed a market for him in Gujarat over there, because I was in Ahmedabad at that time. From there, moved on to one of my relatives, took an agency of plastic granules. And so I was getting working with people like Syntex, with National Plastics, the ones who make tanks. I worked with Tetra Pak in Pune. Wow. So I had Maharashtra and the whole of Gujarat and Maharashtra except Bombay. And I used to sell more plastic granules in this area compared to the whole of India put together, which was being handled by someone else. So that was another learning that I had. And as I said, I'm blessed that I kept having learning after learning. Knowing what works over there. And at one point of time, there was a chance to move to Pune, which was in distribution. So we were in textile distribution. So that was my grandfather's business. We were working with Century Textile Mills, and we were working across some districts of Maharashtra, and Pune happened to be one of the biggest cities in that region. And so I shifted here, set up the whole idea of that. Unbelievably, I had done I was also studying in the meanwhile, and I had done my desertion, you can say, in BCom in my last year. That was required to pass business management classes, and that was on channels of distribution, and I landed up with channels of distribution over here. So I ended up talking about channels of distribution, and I worked with that, got an opportunity to work with pharma consumables. Also, because it was my uncle's factory, he said Pune is a good hub for pharma, so why don't you? And I don't know whether it counts over here, but one of my failure stories, that at one point of time, I actually was working with managing directors of, so I was meeting people from HAL over here. I was Litaka, MCure, Kailash Jeevan, all the so-called names over here. I was working with them, New Life, okay? And I was in touch with their top management also, and at places I had met their CEO. I definitely had their number in the phone. I was such a bad networker till I met BNI that I don't have their numbers in my phone right now. I'm not in touch with them. So because that business closed down, my uncle expired. And so the factory shut down, which was in Mumbai. So I said, "ठीक है, ये काम ही नहीं है अब." So that's what we do with our lives is one of the things. So a lot of lessons learned in that. And finally, I went into financial products, which got me to BNI, which I started representing in BNI. So BNI is roughly my 8th business option, the longest that I've stuck with, the one which doesn't stop me from learning, and which is now creating my 9th opportunity. As you know, I'm trying to work on helping people with forming business strategies. Now, that's a product from BNI which happened.
I personally think in the school and colleges, one thing to be taught is how to fail gracefully, because it's a part of life. Failing is not failing. Failing is just, it's a brick stone for the success. As an investor, when I wrote my book called Catch the Shark, and I met a lot of investors too to understand how this game works, they told me out of 10 deals we are going to do, though we are going to study everything, we have CA, we have best brains, out of 10 deals, we know that 6 are going to fail.
Wow. Okay. Yes.
2 will make it okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
1 will do wonderful and 1 will do very, very good, which will take us to 100 more deals. And that's how these investors work. And, just continuously work so you find your magic in your life.
Oh, true. So sometimes I think that why was I shifting from one thing to another? It's not as if, at some points I didn't have a choice. The business shut down or we closed that. ICI Plastics closed down their plastics division in Australia, and so there was no more product to sell over here. So that could have been closure. But the other businesses, why did I keep stepping out of them? And one of the most important things, there are 2 things which I think, at that minute, I thought that it was the learning curve which got over in the business. Ki, theek hai, you went there, you started doing things, you did moderately well, you could do better if you had put in more effort. But the learning curve had kind of reached its this thing. And so the interest started going down. With BNI, I was at a place where the learning curve was kind of, becoming stagnant before COVID. Before COVID. So it was stagnating. So even I was thinking, okay, is it time to start thinking beyond BNI? But luckily or unluckily, COVID hit. Everything had to change. We suddenly had to pivot online. We had to think of new strategies. We had to think of, and that got me, I think, another few years of life in this business where I felt excited that there is something new. There's another learning curve. At that time, I mean, we were learning Zoom. We were learning, how to meet online, how to create online success. Yes, how to get online success, how to get people connecting with each other online. All of that happened. It was happening so fast. And after that, it's remained that now we have come in a world of hybrid. And so we are adjusting to that. And that's the fun part of it. So one was the learning curve. The other was your, which I keep talking about, and I've also spoken in my book, which I've written, It Starts With You. The whole concept of It Starts With You came in with the idea of, more than any other business, I think the BNI business connected with my why. And so once you connect your business why with your personal why, and that's when you start finding magic, you start enjoying what you're doing. So even when I talk about strategy, I talk about, yes, a business has a why, but also the promoters or the founders have a why. And when it matches, tab jadoo hota hai, then magic happens. You start enjoying it. It's no more work. You love to get new ideas. You want to do new things. So that was something which is the next part of my learning curve.
So one thing is for sure, I know you from long, that you are a lifelong learner. You love learning new things. And second
Otherwise,
thing I
you're dead. If you're not learning something new, if you're not growing, you're dead.
Yeah. Second thing I know about you, that you love taking positive challenges in your life. And now you're also helping companies to take the challenges and grow them to next level. On pivoting, I was remembering one very important thing. We all know company as a Paytm. Now,
Yes.
when Paytm today we know as a payment gateway solutions and wallets and all those things they do, they also failed multiple times.
Yes.
But the original name of company is called 197 Communication.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And still, even if you sign a check for Paytm even today, you have to
Yes.
sign a check for 197
Oh,
Communication.
interesting. I didn't know
And
that.
even they pay you money, it will come as a 197 Communication.
Oh.
Now, why I'm sharing is when Paytm started in 2001, 197 was a number where you used to call on BSNL, if you remember, for
Okay.
directory.
Okay.
Old days. I know a lot
Yeah.
of kids won't
Yes.
understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
So we had to dial a phone or call and say
Yes.
197, मुझे Bharat Daga BNI का number चाहिए.
हाँ.
Then the lady in BSNL will pick up and 197 was a directory. Now, Paytm was the first company who came up with a private website-based directory.
Oh.
That is why the company
The
was
database.
called database. 197 Communication.
Oh,
now, see,
interesting.
that's where they started. But as an entrepreneur, Vijay Sharma kept working. Even for 3 years, the company was down. Zero. No operations.
Wow.
He
That's
picked it up again. But today, they're giants of India. So it's basically keep learning,
Yes.
keep experimenting, and what you said is that when your why connects, your personal why connects to the why of company, then magic
Yeah.
happens.
And also, I think, change is all around us. And if you change to adapting conditions, it could be now, they could have probably started another company and called it Paytm Incorporated or Paytm Private Limited or whatever. But I think the name remained, but he thought of an idea which could be better or maybe which solves better needs of people who need it. And that becomes another game altogether, I guess.
Business is all about solving people's problems.
100%. That's the first rule of, I think, any business which is successful. If it is unable to solve a need or make it easier for doing something or actually making it something which is helping me get what I want, it's not going to survive for long.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, I think you are giving me answer, but I want to ask you in a proper question. When you work for so many companies, so many things, what commonalities you found irrespective of the businesses you did or worked on?
Yes.
What are the common things were there which you learned powerfully, which can be implemented to any business at any time of era?
Like I said, my primary focus always is on sales and marketing. Okay, the sales and marketing. If you find your market, then you are able to connect with what you do. Okay, so every business that I started, I was very clear of what markets that I want to work with. I sat down, did a little bit of that. ऐसा नहीं है कि first day I was very clear. It evolved to getting to what I really wanted to work, which would work for me. Now, once again, I had my limited vision. I'm sure I had my biases also कि ये चलता है मेरे लिए या इधर मैं comfort ढूंढ लिया हूँ. Or also it could be recency theory कि this worked for me at this time, so this works for me. All of that could have happened, but at the same time I started getting into areas where it was possible to understand that these markets could work for me. So let me give you an basic example of this. So ICI Plastics used to have a lot of products. They had, they had granules for PVC, they had granules for LLDP, they had granules for, other things also. But we concentrated on LLDP, and at least I concentrated on, the LLDP. Now, why did I concentrate on LLDP? Because what was interesting was I didn't know much about this market. I'm not I've never done chemical engineering. I don't know as a chemical. I understand business logic. Now they had, in the LLDP market, there are 3 different kinds of products available. So we had Reliance, which was in C4 based LLDP. Matlab ki it was the lowest level. C4 is, how many carbon atoms are joined. So, then we had Dow Chemicals, which was C8, which was octane based. Octane fuel is also based on that. So it's C8, which was highest efficiency over there. And obviously the cost was higher. Reliance also went into it afterwards. And these people manufactured C6, hexene based. Now, all across the world, there were very few manufacturers of C6, hexene based LLDP. And Reliance was definitely not looking to get into that market. Now, competing against Reliance, with an imported product, which was more expensive, would have been tough. So the idea was, how do you pitch this product? How do you position it? How do you promote it? And at every place, the idea was to find out differentiation, you can say, or how does it help people more? And the only way I knew how to do this was actually I ordered in a lot of bags, which I paid for over there when I started working on it. कि यार किसी के पास अगर आ गया है तो मुझे 10 बैग दे दो 50 किलो के, तो आई एम रेडी टू बाय इट ऑल्सो. सो आई टुक इट एंड आई यूज टू कैरी अ बैग मेरे साथ में उसको, एंड आई यूज टू गो टू दैट पर्सन एंड आई सेड I claim that my product's tensile strength is better. You can extrude more. Extrusion is more. तो मतलब कि आपकी productivity बढ़ती है and downtime reduces. Now, I don't know whether this claim is true or not. I'm not a chemist. You've been in this industry for longer, so I need your help. I have a bag in my car right now. Can I leave it here with you? And you tell me when you can work with and with your operator, and I can go on to the shop floor and can I understand whether it works? Because I'm trying this out also, and I think that if it works good, it could be a good solution. And I would work with operators on the literally जो machine operate करता था on this thing. I used to go with him, stand with him and tell him that. And he used to say, sir, इससे ये फायदा है, इससे ये फायदा है, इससे ये फायदा है. तो अपने फायदे अपने क्लाइंट से सीखना is more important than imagining that you have that.
Wow.
One of the first learnings of a marketing person.
Wow.
And that's when they told me, I said, Acha. I went back to the owner and says, your operator says this is what the benefit he's getting. And then I translated it into a cost benefit analysis on the financial scale. So you have this analysis, but in the end, a business owner buys most things. That's my way of talking on. That's what I tell every entrepreneur. A business owner buys something for his business only for one of two things. Either पैसा बचाने या पैसा बनाने, to save money or to make money. Now, both the things are going to happen in this, that he was able to save money in this by using lesser material, being able to produce better quality this thing. For example, if it was Syntex, their tank thickness, they could reduce. So lesser material, but same strength. Now, that is a gain. That's a profit, gain in profit. And so, that's why they started using it. Or Tetra Pak, they could make thinner layers over here in their cartons where they had multi-layer plastics they use. And that's how basically I realized how. So people who used to have only 64 tons capacity, or पूरे महीने में they use only 64 tons of material in their whole plant. 16 tons they would import a container from us.
Wow.
And blend it and use it to be able to do that. Now, that's what I mean by strategy, or also learning on the job that you have to do. In the end, it's all about the market and what are you helping others with. And most businesses that I've been able to work, it was more on the terms of understanding whatever I'm doing, how is it going to help them either make money or save money. And that would get them to immediately work with me. When I even pivoted in financial products, that became a challenge at that time. Because the highest selling products are the ones which give the seller sometimes the maximum advantage.
Correct.
Okay? But the product which is the best beneficial for the customer might give you a lesser payback or a lesser commission. So it's a dilemma that we go through. Well, I stuck with the idea that I could afford to make a lesser money, but I would prefer going with letting the user get the best advantage, because he would recommend me further and that would help me grow. Which again now is a strategy question: volumes or margins. Which one do you want to play with? So it keeps getting this thing, but the idea is once you sit down, business owners की सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है कि खुद से बात ही नहीं करते.
I want to take a very important point of what you said is most of business owner, I feel they live an illusion.
Okay.
So you work with more business owners, a lot of business owners, like 6,000 plus. How true it is, the kind of product they have and they feel how they are adding value, how much correction is required?
I don't know whether I call it correction, but I think it's a mindset that one needs to understand. And when I talk about strategy, so I'm a firm believer. Let me bring this to when I meet someone, what do I start looking in when they're talking? Okay.
No, sir, I just want to enlighten our viewers that business strategy is nothing the small corrections and thinking process. So I don't want to scare them with the word business strategy. So
you're right.
Okay.
So business strategy is like a master plan, which helps you achieve your goals.
Wonderful.
And which also leads you to what actions can I do. That is the simplest way of understanding. बाकी सब बहुत ज़्यादा complicated हो जाता है.
कहाँ जा रहे हैं, क्या करना है, बस दो चीजें.
नहीं, मतलब कि basic what is this thing? That is the big picture. अब उसके अंदर आप छोटा-छोटा उसको बांट सकते हो in a lot of things.
So now let's go to the strategy part.
हाँ. So business strategy is basically, like I said, it's a master plan which helps you achieve your goals or whatever you have in mind. That's one part of it. Now, when you think about master plan, what does it mean? People ask, what does it mean? So basically, whichever helps you get long-term growth for the stakeholders, for your customers, and in the markets, whichever way you want to look at it, as a company, as stakeholders of the company, and as your customers also. So that would be the plan that would come together, and it would help you take you step by step towards what you're trying to achieve.
And long term means what? How many years you are looking?
So long term, normally when you talk about strategy, a business strategy would be a lifetime decision, except when you decide to pivot. Your business, below it, your business models could keep changing. So business strategy एक अलग चीज होती है, फिर business models अलग होता है, which is below it. So your models could change. For example, what was maybe a business which was, let's say, okay, Nike. Okay, only shoes business, right? So normally they believed in having only stores. And the more people they could reach, get more penetration, getting to more stores, have their branded stores also to create, and then it done. So with the changing world, people started buying online.
Yes.
And we went into this. They were smart enough to pivot where they have experience stores. So I can go to a store, like in Pune, there's one on MG Road. I can try out the products over there, see, size, comfort, stuff like that, because it's a touchy-feely product over there still. They do that, but you can order online from there itself in the store. So they're called experience stores. Abhi now, if you notice, there are a lot of people who are doing Apple experience store, all experience stores, but they can order online. So you're blending both the worlds together. Now that's a business model that they've changed, but the strategy remained the same.
Shoes.
Yeah, or maybe shoes and the connection with athletes, athletics. So that's one of the Nike. If you read the whole Nike story, it's all about how they started, connecting with different brands. Which were in the sports world, and then they started connecting, and so tennis shoes with tennis icons, or they had baseball shoes with baseball icons, or basketball was their biggest, Magic Johnson working with them. So that's basically business modeling, but business strategy would be still the same. It would still be.
It goes for a life. You may keep pivoting in different models to achieve your strategy.
And would your strategy change with time? It could.
Yeah.
But components of it.
Yeah. Because environment is changing so fast. So you might have to adopt.
You have to be agile.
Yeah, you have to be
able to work on that. Yes. So when you talk about business strategy, again, now, if you think about it, you break it down, it starts with what we've spoken about already, which is the purpose. So I put it as, the business has a purpose and I have a why as a founder or a promoter of that. So my why and purpose, it comes down to from where you go into, okay, so what's the vision and what's the mission of this thing? Now, vision, mission, I'm not going to go into because that's one whole podcast, I think.
Yes.
So let's not get into that. From there, it comes to what are the market opportunities? What are the opportunities available, or a competitive analysis? Usko kai tarike se, you can call it a lot of names. But it's the idea of what are the market opportunities, what are the competitive analysis, where it comes to what are my resources? What do I have? What can I bring? What is possible for me over there? So your resources, which leads to your goals and your actions, and wrapping all of this. Because my favorite is, I work with the 5 P's of, this thing. I go around it and all of it gets wrapped up in that. How you put it in action is, I work with the 5 P's.
So can you explain these 5 P's also?
So 5 P's is a concept actually which was propagated by Philip Kotler. Started with the 4 P's.
4 P's,
so 4 P's of marketing, he called it. But what, in my experience when I've been working with companies, I've realized that it's more than only marketing. If you think about it, it encompasses strategy also, and we'll explore that. So there are 5 things which you have to take a decision of to be able to, for your business to reach. The first is the product. Okay, the product or a service, which could be either interchangeably used. So the product. Okay. The second is, according to me, the second I would think about is the people. Now, people could be internal and external both, but when you're looking at it external, matlab, who are the people who need this product or service? Okay, that way. Or then the other part of strategy is inside people. Who do I need inside to work with to get to that? The next would then, based on that, would be that, which is the place. What is where I have to position myself in the sense of also physical, only online, or different combinations or way of doing it, like we spoke about the Nike experience. After that would come what would be the pricing over there. And then comes promotion.
Wow.
Now, promotion would also be broken down into a couple of P's, which could be brand persona, a persona that you want to create, or the packaging, or it could be the process of marketing. Then we go into basic sales and marketing processes below that. But that's what the first 4P decisions you have to start working with.
So if a business owner is struggling right now, or they want to level up to the next game, first thing they need to work on the 5 Ps again and
yes,
relook
because they would have already started working in this.
Yeah.
So they would already have a product or a service which they are working
People
on,
are
which they're
already
giving.
there, yeah.
But, and surprisingly, this is really surprising. But my experience, because of networking, so people in networking, how you grow your business is by understanding which is my target market, where do I want to reach, who do I want to work with, and then enabling people to get you connected to them.
Correct.
Right? Now, most of the times, the biggest problem why people are not being able to extract from networking what they want to do is because they've not put their strategy of their business in place. And one of the strategies which they're kind of confused with is the person. Okay, by the way, the person was the 5th P which got added.
Yes.
It was the last P which got added. Because everybody realized, what are we doing all of this for? It's for actually the market, the
Correct.
P that we're doing it, the person over there, So they are not very clear of their target market. And because they're not clear of their target market, they don't evaluate whether it's sufficing or it's fulfilling a need of that target market and in what way. Because if I want others to build my business, the simple thing that others should know about me is who could be my potential client and why will he want to meet me? It's very simple.
So true.
It's very simple, as I think. So I don't know complicated. So my life has always been how to make it simple to do. Rather than, talk of big things, give complicated names. But when you end up doing it, go into the simple nitty-gritties. And that's my biggest problem that I face with business owners, that they haven't actually sat down and decided their, 5 Ps. They haven't even thought about it. They haven't tried to put in their time, effort and energy based on what is available. So strategy to bahut baad mein aayegi fir. We can build that on top of it. But even if people build this very
5
clearly,
Ps.
they sit down, they talk, because it has to be, it's like, gears you put in place. So one gear sometimes turns 10 other gears by shifting one gear. That's how a watch normally used to work there. It's the same over here. You change one thing. You want to change the price. You might have to change the people whom you're targeting.
Yes,
and the place that you want, you will be able to sell that. Your product and service could remain the same. The only thing is that means your promotion changes automatically. So just one change in price might change that.
Yeah. So you can't only change one gear independently. You might have to.
It is
work
there,
around.
yes.
It's
But you have to think about it one by one of what do I have available? Where am I there? And then we can break each one and talk about it in a little more idea if it helps your listeners.
As I believe that your experience is largely in sales and marketing, and I also personally believe that a lot of business owners are lacking in that area.
Yes.
They don't know how to represent their product and service. So what you said is very powerful, is why my customer want to meet me.
Yes.
Okay, that's also not clear. So would you like to talk a little bit on the promotion and
Okay. So let me say, take any business. Okay. The first thing is either पहले से the product or the service is defined. If you're not going to change that, if it's going to be clear that this is what I do, what exactly do you do is not what you're doing. It's basically what is others getting out of it. Now that could change.
that could change even customer to customer.
That could change customer to customer, agreed. But that means you have multiple target markets then.
Yes.
You have multiple people who might require that. So as you already connected, it is going to connect over there.
Correct.
Right? So the first part would be that this is my product, what need is it solving? Okay, or what is the solution that I'm bringing? There's a simple saying now, nobody buys a drill, they buy the hole.
Yeah.
So I need the hole, that's why I need the drill.
But what can an organization entrepreneur do to understand it in really? Because
in real life.
Because it should not be illusion that this is what I feel.
Yeah.
What you did with plastic was very, very powerful.
So that is the product idea. That's the product. So I had to define, because I was a representative of something. I couldn't go and tell them, "Tum product line change kar do tumhari." It would never work. Why would they change their product line for me? They had a product line. They're working on it. So I found out where's the need of the product. So then so the product is there. So you find your need. The easiest way to find your need. Thank you for asking this at the right time. Ask your customer why he buys from you.
Wow.
People who've been buying for years from you, kyun? Why do you deal with me on a daily basis? What is that thing? For all you know, it's not the product, it's the service. So then you're promoting your service. 10 minutes delivery. You're selling a pizza.
So they know that are they selling a pizza or they're selling a 10-minute delivery?
Yeah, so they were selling a delivery. They were selling the convenience of reaching it there. Blink it. Grow first. Yeah, it's the emergency, immediate, this thing that I need. The product is available at my kirana shop also.
I can go and buy it out, but I still
Yeah,
take it.
पर रात को 12 बजे कौन किराना देगा? तो इसलिए वहां पर वो शायद काम में आएगा. या New Year's, I don't know whether you've read of all of this funny things, but if you read up that what were the top ordered things on New Year for the home delivery circuit, and it's really funny. Let's not go into it. It's a little naughty, so we won't take it all the way there.
So people have already guessed it now.
So yeah, because that was the urgently, and the 10-minute need got fulfilled over there. So that's what they were supplying.
Yeah, so as a entrepreneur, they need to understand what they are solving, what need they are fulfilling.
Yes, what is the need they're solving? What is the solution they're giving? How are they making someone's life more easier, or how are they actually serving that? Now, once you've got that, whom are you doing it for? Like you said, it could be multiple people, different needs. Perfect. So you've got multiple people, different needs here where you can branch it out. Ki, this is what this person. So I could be dealing with a hospital also. I could be dealing with the school sector also. I could be dealing with, let's say, industries also.
Multiple segments,
multiple target markets, right? Now, multiple target markets, then logically you would go into that, which is the one which I have the greatest strength in, and why? What need that I am sorting out. Otherwise, you're just competing with people and spending more time on that competition rather than that. Now, also the other two things that you will take out would be, what's the volume? So which market has volume?
Correct.
Okay, then you get into core marketing decisions, penetration of marketing. How easy is it? How can I get into this market? Or there's an established player jisko hilane ke liye, I don't know what I'll have to do over there. And then it goes to who pays a higher price. So if I'm, let's say, selling a Mont Blanc pen, I'm going to charge ₹1 lakh, but 10 rupees ka pen also sells in the market over there. So the point is, are you selling a writing instrument, or are you selling some other need?
Yeah. So you need to focus on what you're selling, the needs.
Yes. So the person also, when you do the person, why is that person buying? Each person would be different. So I'm buying a pen. But when I buy a Mont Blanc pen, I don't buy pen, I buy the esteem.
Yes.
I buy the esteem which is put over there. And then we go into, okay, so if I have to show this is an esteem product, can I put it at a place which is common with other things?
मतलब ऐसा हो गया Mont Blanc का ad रिक्शा के पीछे.
Exactly. Perfect. इसका एक और example देता हूँ. Do you know Rolls-Royce does not exhibit its cars in shows which are with car shows.
Oh, okay.
Rolls-Royce only exhibits its cars where there are actually people, so where there are private jet trade shows, where there are actually yacht. So where people are going, exhibitions of yachts, exhibitions of private jets, that is where Rolls-Royce takes a stall in or takes place and exhibits. Because that's their target market. So that's the place they want to be with. They don't want to be compared with a car. They're talking of.
So this is true for so every entrepreneur. If you want to really level up, don't connect with your own level. Try to connect with the level up people who are already there.
Or where are they? Yeah.
Or where are they?
Yes.
What are they doing?
Yes. And what do they need?
What do they need? Yes.
Yeah. So can I use you as an example?
Yes. It's positive. Yes.
Okay. So, so what is your product is that you help us author a book. But really, do you do that?
No.
What do you do?
I know it's intellectual branding. So
okay, so you help us brand ourselves.
Intellectual brand.
Okay, yes. So if someone asks me why do you write a book, I would say that if like you've taught me, in fact, some of this, that whenever you give someone a book, if the person says if he can write so many words on his business, he must be good at it.
Yeah, he's expert, thought leader.
He's thought authority. Of it. Yes, precisely. Now, you have different offerings in your book, this thing also.
Packages, yes.
Yes, different packages and different needs with this thing. Now, one of these things could be where there are people who've got so many great ideas. They're leading huge organizations. They are thought leaders without a doubt.
Yes, they are already. There are many people.
Yes, but they do not have the time or the wherewith to actually bring it together in written material over there. Now, the way you will help them to compare to someone who wants to write a book like me, where I'd say, no, I'll scribble it, man, I'll write it on my own. And I know that's what you made me do. After that, you teach others all the other, shortcuts of how a book can be created. Yeah. So that's the target market where once again, we are talking about where you positioned yourself to this. Now, if these people you say that, you'll have to do this, your promotion is wrong to them. Or it might not catch everybody.
It will not trigger the need what I'm trying to satisfy.
And so you might need to promote it differently over there. Yeah. Now, the whole idea that, fantastic, the way I see you changing your whole this thing, that you do podcasts and the podcast can result in books being created.
Books can be created
step by step.
Podcasts, yes.
Over there. Now, that's one of the needs that you found that gap.
What I found people, when they talk in the flow, they're so powerful in talking, the experience comes out, the stories comes out. When I tell them to write, suddenly the school teacher of their English comes in their mind and the pen stops or typing stops. Then I said, I thought, if they talk, and though that talk can be converted into a text. Yes. Now we have people, we have technology, a lot of things are there. It's original talks. Though that can be converted as a book. So it becomes easy task.
Yes.
My idea, my need, why I do it is, I'm from a small place. My education was simple, humble parents, accountant. My father was an accountant. What I learned, the principles of success, is from the non-fiction book which I read from US authors.
Okay. Yes, true.
That's what I learned out of.
Oh, my library is most of out
of India.
Talk
about books too. Okay.
Yes.
But one thing was missing. I thought when this US information has to be converted to Indian context, I need to modify.
Could change. Yes.
But we have so many powerful people in India.
True.
If they write the success principles, success stories, business success, then I don't need to modify that. So I wanted the future generation life needs to be easy.
Yes.
They just read it and implement. So in US, for example, retail business, if I read a book from US, they talk about Carrefour. Yeah. But the guy in a small town in India, he reads that book because he's getting inspired on some reel. Now this guy says, what is Carrefour?
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's Carrefour. And can't even imagine what is Carrefour.
And the model and the environment could be different.
Yeah, people, different tastes.
That is fantastic.
So I thought someone from India who worked in Carrefour in US, he comes back to India, he works with D-Mart or some big brand.
Yes.
And he said, let me write a book for retail industry.
And let me build how it gets built over here. Fantastic.
Yeah, that is my purpose.
Wow, fantastic.
But I wanted, the people have their own needs. This is my need. Then I connect my need with their need and that's what happens.
So perfectly. So you've been able to, so you've always been passionate of, as I know you, of doing many things. You're one of those people who are like me, who keep jumping in doing things and also, And it's also because you want to keep rediscovering yourself and grow yourself as a person.
Yes.
Now, that aligns with this, I think, fabulously. And that's why this has also got you, I would say, I'm so happy to see you getting extraordinary success now because of the efforts that you're putting. And helping so many other people also achieve their success through that. See, the easiest way for success is helping others to succeed.
others.
No? So that is, I think, fabulous.
And I hope one day all of my friends and all of my, people who I work with, they don't understand me today. If they can realize that when you see someone else happy, when you make someone else more successful, when you help someone else earn a couple of crores more,
yes,
that gives you far more happiness than you earning a crore.
True. And that's, I think, why I stuck to BNI.
Yeah,
that's why what happened.
Helping
to see people succeed.
And our help is anyhow. Our growth anyhow is a byproduct of what we do.
Yes.
So that's how the happiness comes in.
You perfectly, something that you've said right now is so true. That your success comes in others' successes. If you keep succeeding at the cost of others, it's short-lived.
Yeah, how long it will go?
Short-lived. It's short-lived, It can never be a long-term business.
इसमें एक हिंदी में कहा था काट की हांडी बार-बार नहीं चलती.
So you can, English में भी उसी को वो करा. You can fool some of the people for some of the time. You can fool some of the people for all the time. But you can't fool all the people for all the time. So same thing applies, I guess, what you're saying. So that's the whole idea. That's why, but this is something which I think business owners, sometimes they get stuck and thrown into doing something. And then that becomes their only thing that they feel they have to do.
They are right at that point, the mindset
completely.
They have. And that is why I really like you and a lot of other people who are ready to come to people's life to open the new perspective. It's all about
change thought.
Change thought process. A thought changes, a life can change, a business can change.
Yeah.
But how will it happen? Someone else has to come to your life.
Someone else.
You have a blind spot you can't see.
Yes. In fact, it's the same with, when we're doing, how it's interesting how our discussions go into each other, into a lot of other things. It's the same with strategy, When I sit down and I make my strategy, normally it will be a good strategy. I'll do things as per this thing, and I'll try and align all these P's together and I'll come out with something. But most of the times what I have noticed when I've worked with people or I've done, there's so many biases which creep in, or so many only experiences, because everybody's got an experiential life. So whatever they've experienced in their life limits them from their thought, this thing, that they forget that maybe an outside perspective is very, very important.
Very, very important.
It's very important. And that's why one of the things very, very importantly today is to have enough people that you can run your ideas by. But if you can do it in a systematic manner of saying that, okay, so, this is product service, this is the need, this is the place, this is the person who's going to be requiring it. So based on this person requirement, I think this could be the pricing, and based on that this is what I'm going to start promoting it. Now, somebody might give you some ideas on something which might kind of make you start thinking, outside the box that you have created. And breaking the box today would be the biggest thing that a person can do over there. See, it sounds so simple, sab bolte, think outside the box. What?
Wow.
Which box?
Wow.
First, which box?
Which box?
I don't even know I'm in a box. Now, the box is that what you have imagined of what you think your business is. And then others would probably think of it in a different manner. So sometimes when I look at it, even, okay, a small business, I'll tell you a small business, okay? So we were talking about this before we came in. So yeah, obvious it'll be, I think, to every viewer, my hair is forsaking me right now. I have a war against my own hair. It's winning. I'm losing. So I'm losing hair. So I met someone who's in, this transplant, cosmetic surgery and stuff like that just yesterday, and I was having a discussion. So obviously smart, he was a smart guy. He brought it to transplant, okay, hair transplant. So I was like, yeah, fantastic hair transplant. But tell me, have I heard it right? That if I get a hair transplant, I have to come in at intervals to get it, let's say, maintenance done. And he looked at me and he realized that, oops, I know what's... So he said, yeah, you have to. So it's okay. So what's the interval? So I've heard it's about 3 months. So he said, no, it could be 2 months to 4 months, depending on each person to person based on that. So I said, and what do you have to do? So it was protein that and something like that. So I said, yeah, okay, great, fabulous. And I'm sure it works with some people where for them the looks are very, very important. They have to maintain that, and also the age, I guess, that you are at. Yeah, if probably I lost my hair at 35, I would have thought it's worth going through that trouble. So that, and my profession that I'm in. Now, he said, but there's a easier this thing also. There's a product where you put a patch. Now, for that, you have to come only once in 3 months. Okay, to just get it clean, which is a simple process. It doesn't require too much of this thing and that. So by itself, there's another solution which has come. Different people, different solutions. Now, what I told is that, the day there is a product which doesn't require maintenance, I'm your first customer. I'll come to you because I am not going to be vain enough to spend time on my looks beyond a certain amount. Okay. Now, when we were having the discussion, you said, but that might kill their industry.
Yes.
But at the same time, it might also take away people from all of the others.
Yes. It's a perspective. Basically.
So whoever brings it. So it's an opportunity for someone. And believe me, I think more and more people are becoming bolder every day. Thanks to our stress factors, our pollution, our environment, or whatever reasons. So if someone actually was able to, they could capture that market over there.
Yeah, so how I feel it, like let's say someone very intelligent like you, me, or someone else was designing their strategy. So businesses are two types, your one-time sale and a recurring business. Recurring business is always better than one-time sale.
Yes.
You don't have to find your customer again and again. The modification a consultant or a powerful strategist will do is try to bring an element of recurring part of it.
Yes.
And that's how the businesses are built.
True.
Happily for over a period of time, but that doesn't mean that you kill the customer's pocket.
Yes.
It has to be balanced.
Yes, and also the other perspective of doing this, Kailash, if you think about it, is that when you think about this, there's another. When you have a recurring business model, then retention also becomes a main thing. That you have to look at. And retention is a huge, believe me, for my business, it makes a huge difference. So we've impacted 6,000 people. We work with 6,000 people, but right now there are only 2,000 people that I'm working with.
So
others have got impacted.
I want to talk this retention because this is the problem for every business.
Yes.
So, and you are in big way working on the retention. So can you tell a couple of strategies which would make
the people a business which is so I'd say one author, which I would think is the best for retention. He's written a book called Retention Point.
Retention Point.
Yeah, and his name is Robert Scrow. So he talks about retention, and how it is, so how you work with it. Now, strategies is very clear. One of the strategies I'll give you is by combining this with, because the rest can be read in the book, I've given the name. There's another author called Ron Kaufman, Uplifting Service.
Yes.
You have heard of it. He's Singapore-based. Yes. So now, when you combine both of their thoughts, they talk about, when someone enters, let's say if you have a business which is a model where you retain people, so it's membership based, okay? Now, what you made me get in with, what service you gave me. So Ron Kaufman kind of describes it, so there is different levels of service. One is criminal, matlab ki less than what you expect. Then it is base level, matlab ki what I expected. And so I became whatever, a member of yours, or I started working with you, which is all right. But if I up the game, so it's a little better than normal, okay? Where I can up it even more and it becomes like extraordinary. Didn't think of this experience at all. And the fifth is like, it's like, wow, unbelievable. Like, okay, so for example, you go to a restaurant, okay? Why this came in my mind is because it just happened to me. You go to a restaurant, and over there, somebody is there to receive you. They keep you on the table. They usher you there. They give you the food. The person helps you, work with it. And you have a good experience overall. They're picking your plates on time. They're bringing food on time. They don't make you wait too long. The food tastes good. And everything is all right over there. If I requested them, can you heat up this paratha again? They would heat it and they would probably bring it. That's good enough, right? Now, the same thing all of that happens, and the person comes and speaks to you, just speaks to you. Okay, it's been a long time I've seen you. How are things? How come we haven't seen you for so long? I was with my father, so he's just recovering from cancer. It was his first outing after his cancer, this thing. He was kicked at the idea.
Wow.
So he spoke about, this is the first time I've come out over here and I wanted to come to this restaurant because I've always enjoyed your food. Now, they've got him for a life. That he is that. And you know what? He did this even when he had his earlier surgery, which was his heart surgery. And again, he's done it the second time because they had asked him at that time also, haven't seen you for so long and stuff like that, So that was better than that, okay? Now, when we go the next time, if this is not done, I would presume I've got bad service, not that they've given okay service, which was okay even without this being asked. So the problem with retention is when you do more, that more becomes normal.
Yeah, people expect more then.
Yeah. Then what is the other extraordinary? So you have to keep creating that extraordinary thing.
Keep thinking.
Yes. So next time I go, probably they'd give me a free ice cream, which they did this time.
Wonderful.
Okay, which was one step further. Fabulous now. Now when I go there next time, or maybe a 10% discount. Now every time I go to that restaurant, if I don't get a 10% discount, I will feel they've not looked after me. So that's the problem with membership-based this thing, that you have to keep upping your service levels to keep increasing retentions.
I want to add two more elements to it. One is, as far as you're doing way beyond the competition, you may be okay not upping every time. That's my perspective. Because sometimes you have to lose a customer once, so customer understand you are the best. So they come back.
Okay.
People come back.
Okay.
I've seen people coming back multiple times.
Yes.
Second is, restaurant has to understand they are not in the business of food.
They're in the business of creating an experience.
And next time you come to Dubai, I'll take you to one of my most favorite restaurants across the world. It's called Avtara.
Okay.
It's a no lasan pyaj, pure vegetarian.
Wow.
They have a 16-course meal.
Wow.
And when you enter in the restaurant, so they sit, they tell you, they explain you the entire process. And then they say, if you want to go for a washroom, you want to tell us beforehand, because we want to stop the next meal for you.
Wow.
Because we want to serve you at the specific temperature.
Wow.
And then you have to tell them.
Yes.
Then, my battery was discharged. Can I have a charger? They got me battery bank. They said, you have iPhone? They give battery bank. They do. So I went with one of our aunties. She was old and she was little shivery. And they got a new blanket for her.
Fantastic.
I said, what the hell they're doing? They're spoiling you.
Yeah, they are. They're creating that experience where you want to.
And every dish, when you see, I know you love food, as I'm sharing.
Yeah.
Every dish you can't even know what is this about.
Okay, so it's a gastronomical restaurant. I have to.
And every dish, when they serve, a different person comes in from the kitchen and they explain what is the dish and how you are supposed to eat.
Wow, fantastic! What an experience!
And one of the dish they serve, and this is an Indian restaurant. And when you go, you see it's filled with all international audience. Very few Indians would go.
Okay.
But one of the dish they serve, they show you one Bhagavad Gita ka shlok with showing that in Bhagavad Gita it was written way beyond how world looks. See, like a people, leaf, and a rabbit, and they have shown the world in that way. And then they give you, when you come back home, so when your food is done, you had a dessert and everything. When you stand up, the bill comes in, and they give you dessert to eat at the home.
Oh wow, that's so nice. Perfect.
And they know they're not in the business of food.
Yes,
I heard that they started in Juhu, Bombay also. I've been to
Really?
Bombay.
Nice.
I heard
I have
of
to
it,
check it out.
but I've definitely Dubai multiple times.
But that's the whole idea. Now, but once even if you think about it from strategy, since you've got it, the person that they are catering to is not a person who's going to satisfy his hunger.
No, थाली के लिए नहीं जा रहा हूँ.
हाँ, तो अगर वड़ा पाव वाला या थाली उधर वो होगा, वहां पर आदमी की नीड क्या है कि मुझे खाना है, मेरे को होलसम खाना चाहिए. इट इज लाइफ सेविंग, मतलब कि मेरे को भूख लगी है, वो खाना है.
Correct.
तो वो या लारी पे जो केला बेच रहा है,
Correct.
तो आप उससे जाके केला खा
Different segments.
Exactly.
You
So
got to
that is where
understand-
they have become very clear with that.
Yeah. Who are you serving?
Yes.
And if you know that I'm serving this kind of audience, how can I
will,
raise the
yes.
expectations
Yes.
to deliver more?
Every business at one point of time has to make your customers your voice piece.
Yeah, they have to.
They will have to do it, especially which is consumer oriented, individual oriented businesses. That is the biggest brand ambassadors are your clients.
Yeah, biggest.
So, which is that company right now which is only using client testimonials or client talks for only promoting themselves, only reels on that. They're not doing any other advertising.
Yeah, because if your client is happy and they're talking to 10 more people, then you don't need any marketing, any promotion to do it. But you still do it.
You
still do it.
Yeah, see, promotion, you see, even word of mouth is promotion. So if you want word of mouth promotion, you be in their mind. Now it has occupied your mind space. That's promotion by itself in a way.
Yeah.
That's promotion also in a way. They've got your mind share. And mind share is most costliest, I think, according to me. So restaurant, which would you recommend best in Dubai? You'll have only one name.
Yeah.
That's mind share.
I will ask why. What is the reason you're going? My anniversary, my birthday, my mom's. I said, no thinking.
Don't think. Go there. Yes. So that's the mind share that they've got. So that's again, once again, as you look at it, it's a level of service that is. So, but I mean, what shakes me coming back to this is that, like Robert Scrobb also says, if you keep adding value, and then it linked up with Ron Kaufman's this thing, the value of that value reduces.
Can you repeat that again?
If you keep adding value. So Robert Scrobb says, value is like water. Too much of it is also not good.
Yeah, I know, yes.
Okay? And Ron Kaufman then says that whatever value you've added, it becomes basic level of service. So you have to add another value. So if in the beginning, if you've given all your value, your retention of customers becomes a little more difficult.
Difficult, yes.
So you have to keep upgrading your service levels.
Has to be.
To be able to give that, retain people. Because you were talking of retention, I think that becomes very important that,
So, and that says business modeling or strategy is also a game which has to keep updating.
Oh yes, you can keep changing.
Keep learning.
Just because I start with, let's say, playing a game of where I want maximum footfall, that doesn't mean that I can keep upping it to having exclusive footfall. But it's not that simple. I mean, it takes a huge effort to change a perceived image.
Yeah. You start from scratch again.
Yes. Now, so you'll have to do something differently. So the easiest way I think of it is when we talk of brands, there's an image that has been made in your mind already.
Yeah. Yes.
And to change that image, it takes a much longer process.
And sometimes people have to launch a new brand. Like, for Maruti, has to launch Nexa.
So because, it's a different experience.
It's a different experience. And sometimes with the same name, I remember my MBA days, one of our teacher was teaching, I still remember marketing, and says, let's say someone launches, like Dettol, decide to launch a chocolate.
Oh God, my God, that would be interesting.
So you can't change your brand perception. Dettol is for,
So hygiene. So they've gone into a lot of hygiene products.
If Dettol want to launch a chocolate, they can, but they have to come with a different name. And,
they might have to come with a different identity.
Everything has to be different. So let's divert to the books now.
Okay.
Let's say you want to recommend 2 or 3, 4 books for an entrepreneur to start the journey on the strategy side.
Okay.
What books would you recommend?
So, like I said, that 2 books names I've given which were connected with a different thing. But if you look at strategy and how to... So, first, of course, it starts with why, of course, Simon Sinek would be...
No, I would recommend first is your book. It starts with you.
Then it starts with you. Okay, yeah. I didn't want to self-promote myself.
I have read your book. It's a very good book. Yes.
So the idea of it starts with you, and you know it because you work with me. I was fortunate to have you exclusively as a book coach. I was fortunate it was COVID time, so you had a little time for me extra. Where the book, also the book was halfway again redone.
I know.
Because of the simple idea that it was redone because I wanted to make it into a journey. Of working on your business and then how to communicate about your business. Now in the communication, of course, all the strategies came in. So if you have a given product or service, this is my one thing which I will say. If you have a given product or service and if you think you're stuck, you can't work on it. What you definitely can work on is what the other things that are there around it. Of how do you can always change your product mix.
Correct.
you might not be able to change the business that you are in.
Correct.
So that's one thing. And to find that, maybe you need to exercise with why are you doing it? Does it align with you? Which is again a part of the book. Moving on to how do you communicate about it? And then bringing it up from there of how do you build it. So strategy wise, yes. Most strategies I've learned are from all the other business coaches.
So one book starts with you. Second
Yes.
is it starts with why.
By
Simon Sinek.
Yes, Simon Sinek is where I would suggest. And then there are multiple articles on this on strategy, but I would suggest instead of doing that, if somewhere you can get a basic idea of getting to know your 5 Ps, just get a base idea on it and then start working on it. That would be.
How important it is to have a business coach? Because a lot of businesses are like, करना तो मुझे ही है. तो
So
I know the answer, but I want
yeah,
the
so
readers to
business. So a business coach or a consultant,
who will help you grow.
So there are many ways that you can use them, and there are different coaches and consultants who position themselves differently. There are some who meet every week, so that means basically they also become your accountability partner. Besides your strategy partner and your this, there are some like my model. Once a month is more than enough. Because we work on base strategies and then actionables, and then the actionables is not something that I would bother with. I would bother with more on the mind level and the psychological level of working with people over there. And then actionables is something that you will pick and choose over there. And then you will do it. The only thing you'll ask is what have we done and what is the result of that? So are we heading the right way, or we've got some part of the strategy sticking out wrong?
Correct.
So that's the whole idea. So that would be where the model is only on a basis of consulting. Then you would have another model which would be basic idea of one time only you do all your planning, you set up your whole enterprise strategy and that, and then you leave it. So all I would say is that every business requires a third party input. Not what kind of input you want or what level of input you want. There could also be functional strategy, which is each function of your business, operations,
HR,
marketing, marketing,
operations, any could.
So there would be that. Now there could be different consultants, coaches for that. There would be a middle level where you're talking of basically your marketing. That's the piece that I'm talking about. Then there would be a higher level where you're talking only about your purpose and your why and your vision and mission and your communication over there. So what level do you need help on if a person kind of sits and he finds out that I need another party opinion on this? Now, if you're okay with having only one time opinion, go and start doing that. And if you realize that, yeah, okay, so this does help me. This helps me do better, make more money, helps streamline my business, helps my life, makes my life easier, then you can think about having on a regular basis. That's what I would, but experience it.
Yeah, experience.
You experience a coach or a consultant, because third party perspective is very, very important right now.
Yeah. I remember our school days where we had a different teacher for maths, different for science, different for sociology, different for Hindi, English. Yes. School also understood that we need different people to grow as a person.
Yes.
And then we had a principal who was to design. So the same strategy we has to bring into school.
It can be used in.
So you bring in different people where you see that you need more improvement, or you need some weakness.
Or you find friends. So sometimes people say we don't have the money to spend.
Yeah,
but you have the time to spend to create a relationship, no?
Friends and books.
Yeah, create a relationship.
Yeah, create a relationship.
Who will help you do it? Just come and have a 1 hour discussion with them.
And fortunately, in India, we have beautiful people
who are ready to talk with people. Yes.
Whatever.
In fact, the whole idea of getting into the strategy business happened because of this, Kailash. Because what happened was BNI members used to come and they used to say, you know what, we're not getting any referrals. And then you used to start working on only on the part that how do they get referrals. So you start working on your product, service, and then what's your market, and then how do you communicate, how do you reach them? What matters to them that they would want to meet you, that people can open doors and get you to meet them. When we started talking about this, people started realizing that, but I don't know this part of it. So it went down to their own business. So what you realize was that they don't have their own business strategy. Who can be your client? Anybody can be my client.
Anybody's nobody.
Yeah, okay. A person who can't afford to pay you, the man walking on the road there, the beggar, he can be your client, right? No, they can't be. So anybody can't. So why don't you define then which can? If you can't define it by inclusion, define it by exclusion.
Correct.
That these
Do some-
people
at
might
least-
not be
At least
relevant for me.
Start working on it.
Yeah.
So that's how you started working on all the
That's where
areas.
it started. Then they would ask questions on that. तो वो एक घंटा उस पे बात करते रहे. We would not talk about that. That's when I read it. And then some of them came and said, you know what, we want this on a regular basis. Because you don't give us time that you give us, that we can meet you in that. So why don't you become a consultant only? And that's when I started realizing that it's easy for larger companies to get consultants. It's our micro and small business owners which probably need it, but they don't get it. And that's the sphere which gives me the maximum amount of satisfaction working with. Because these are people who are ready to do the hard work. Hard work is already going on. A little bit of smart work will make their life a little more easier. And some of them could become unicorns
Yeah, they can become
from there.
It also depends on the perspective. I always take an example of games. Let's say I want to just play for Pune.
Yeah.
I need a different type of coach. But if I want to play for Maharashtra, I need a different type of coach.
Yeah.
But if I want to play for in India and I want to go for an Olympics, I need to level up my
Yes.
coaches also. And I may not directly go to the Olympic coach. I have to take a journey
Yes,
from my
from
Pune
one
coach to
to-
Maharashtra coach to India
Perfect.
coach. And then
That's so well explained.
I have to
That's so well
level up.
explained.
As far as I just want to play as a hobby and a gully cricket, then it doesn't matter. I don't need a
Yeah.
coach. But it's your choice. Are you running your business as a gully cricket or do you want to play for in India? That's your
Fantastic.
choice.
Yes.
If you really made a choice, then go for coach.
Perfectly done. I think I like what you're ending with. So would you like to end it with two thoughts that I would leave
Yes.
people that they scratch their heads?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's something which I'm already talking to BNI members. It's another training that we have created, which is a strategy training only. And basically it came because of this itch that why don't people understand, why can't they kind of, So there are two things that we talk about, and both of them I will be very, very open. I'm a learner from other people, and then I'm an adapter, that I take their ideas and then I try and adapt it to find these. One is, what is the mode of business that you are in today? Okay. Now there are three modes of business that I think about very easily, because there could be more, but one is when you're in survival mode. That means I have to meet my monthly expenses and I've got to make sure I have to hustle only for that. If I don't hustle, I will have a problem paying my rent, paying my employees' salaries, paying my electricity bills, but whatever. Now at that time, your major focus will only be on revenue, sales or turnover. So your strategy has to link in with that. So strategy has to link in with that. That's the level I've started off with in most businesses. And so when I went into my financial planning business, I had only one tactic. Meet one new person every day regardless. I have to meet one new person every day. If I take a Sunday off, I have to meet two people on Monday.
Wonderful.
Okay, that was my simple tactic which went behind it. Okay, so make enough phone calls that someone gives you an appointment. You keep making phone calls. Keep listening to no's till you get an appointment over there. That was a simple. So the tactic then gets defined over there. Now the next level is stability. So I know my monthly, financial needs will be met. I have a flow or a recurring clients or, this thing.
I don't want to run month on month then.
So it won't kill me
it won't
if
kill
a
me.
month is not doing well. Let me put it, I still have to run.
I still don't
But now my running becomes different. At this level, I have to start thinking of going up the value chain. Okay? I believe it's the entrepreneur's solemn duty, unka dharma hai, as we say it, to work less and get more.
Correct.
By working more and getting more, it's fantastic. But if I work less and get more, then I can work more to get even more, no? So it is their solemn bound duty to do that. And so that's where they have to start thinking on stability more. So up volume, better customers, higher ticket sizes, better margin games. You have to start thinking of that. Your volume games will be at the lowest level. Then you start thinking of margin
Some
games.
mixing has to start.
Yes, so then you have to start. And now, how will you start doing that? You'll start thinking that in terms of, can I do some collaboration with someone?
Why not? Wonderful.
And
Collaboration
things
is
like
power.
that,
Yes.
right? So you will start a collaboration at this level. Then comes the level of abundance. Whatever my business is running, it's running. It's running by itself. I've got enough. I've got things flowing. I've got everything working as that. So once again, here comes a solemn duty of a business owner to not do work and still earn money.
Yes.
Okay, it goes another level. And that's where you have to start thinking of how can you change your business model? So this is where you start thinking of co-creation. That's the buzzword today. And co-creation is a very, very, very strong word. And we won't go into much details in that. But then one of the ways of co-creation is also franchising. So you start thinking franchising. You start thinking of bundling. Okay. You start thinking of co-creation. And you start thinking of what to shed off from your, what you do. What are things it's okay to remove. Because by doing this much, I'm going to get 80% already there. So I have mind space to get the next 80% jump.
Wonderful.
So that's the three which I call modes of business. What mode of business you are?
How you reach from survival to the abundance.
Survival to abundance.
And it's a step-by-step process.
And it's the easiest way to do that is when you can get others to help you, take you to a level up.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah,
so networking works fantastic in this. That's why I thought of putting it in as a networking this thing. The next is your levels of business. Okay. Now once again, levels of business is not my idea. All credit given to Brad Sugars, the founder of Action Coach, that he gave this idea. And I love this idea and I share it as many times as possible with as many business owners as possible. Okay. So when a person was in a job and he leaves the job and he starts a business, he doesn't become a business owner, forget entrepreneur. All he becomes is self-employed.
I would call a slave.
Okay, so yeah. So I have to use Hindi for this, you know. So पहले दूसरे की नौकरी करता था, अब खुद की नौकरी कर रहा है, लेकिन पगार भी नहीं मिल रही है. So for English friends of ours, basically you're working for yourself, you're not getting even paid for it. You pay others first and then if anything is left, it's yours.
Yes.
So you're self-employed. Okay. Now it's self-employment levels. Again, now survival is self-employment level, and your only basic this thing is going to be how much can I do only? From which you go to one level up, which is managerial employed. Now, what is managerial employed is where, let's put it that I have staff now that I'm hiring, but they're doing my admin work, or I have an office boy. So I don't have to go get the water myself. If someone guest comes in, you know, somebody else helps me get that. Or the admin is doing my reporting work, please, you know, help me. And all I'm taking is decisions on that. And what happens at this level is still the machine that you have to keep pumping to print your money is still only being handled by you. But after that, other processes are being taken care by other. But if you go on a holiday, nobody's moving that machine.
You can't go on a holiday.
So, you know, so people can maybe because sometimes. They must have reached stability stage.
Yeah, sometimes, yes.
So you can afford to give away a few days.
I have a lot of friends who are doctors, and when you're saying all doctors are in my...
Yeah, but that is another reason for, I think it's also their sense of responsibility and duty of that patients might need me, and especially in the critical ones. Yeah, they are in, like, for example, oncologists or hematologists, where patients there can be a huge change in that 1 day, 2 days, right? So that is the second level. From where you reach the level of becoming a business owner. Now imagine level 3 is just becoming a business owner, where I have a few people now that if I go away on a holiday, they can keep running the machine. Maybe it will not be working as efficiently as I would do it, but it still runs. So I have my inflow being taken care some bit by other people. Okay. So that's the fourth level. From there, you go into the level 4, which is investor.
Yes, wonderful.
Now, what you're doing is that, and it's not the investor you think at this, as per Brad Sugars or this level. It's where that now I have built an organization where I'm investing in people as one part of it, that they run the show. So I can afford to hire a person, you're responsible for my sales and marketing, and you have to report to me. Okay. And so he then starts running at the level below and starts doing it with other people. You give him a profit share, you give him whatever. So it's quasi-partnership that you get into, okay, over there. And also it comes into as an investor that where I have a little bit of surplus to start even get others working. And, I would still be working with them like all the other businesses you're building up right now. That you'll also be working for that business and they will do the heavy lifting.
Correct.
Okay, so that's the investor level. From which comes the fifth level, which is entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship is the fifth level, where only your mind and your money is all you invest. You don't invest anything else. Okay, so funding, one part of it. Yeah, it's only mind and money. So you give them ideas of how to scale up, and of course, because you want your investment to escalate, it become more valuations to go up. So that's where you put mind and money. Or for that matter, the reason why I'm trying to do or doing business strategy consulting, where again it's mind and money.
Majorly mind.
Yeah, and basically because I work with only sweat equity. So once again, it's mind and the money as this thing. So that's what level of entrepreneurship you are at. Do you accept it or do you want to go to the next level? So then you will have to start creating all the other strategies also and your relationships also based on the level you want to go.
Wonderful.
So that's two practical things that I would say people should think about and be honest with themselves. So if I'm honest with myself, I am at partially the business owner level with my business that I am in, my full-time business. But that doesn't satisfy me. I need to go to investor. I can invest. I've done a little bit of investment in startups and stuff like that. So that's okay. It's not entrepreneur. My mind is, so they're doing the heavy lifting. I can give them some ideas and then this thing. But this entrepreneurship level really, really kept calling to me. So I'm slowly working towards how can I, combine it together with my need of, working at a higher level and helping others also to be able to make more, which if it combines together, it works together, it can lead to another pathway, another level, which it's very difficult to stay at level 5 all the time. Except if you're someone like Richard Branson, so I don't know if you Google Richard Branson and his executive assistants.
Yeah, I know.
He's got these 5 beautiful women who are his executive assistants. So he's riding an elephant in India, he's talking of the next Virgin experience that people want. Now we've already got Virgin Cruises. That's the newest baby that he's created. He only works with that. He goes, he experiences it. He shows people the experience through his living.
Yeah, right. Wonderful.
And so that's the level of this thing. It's a fantastic level to be at.
I think all can reach there. Only they need to work on it.
They'll have to.
And always get third person perspective because they can see what we cannot see.
And they're able to tell that you're at this level.
Yeah.
Someone had to tell me that, you're at level 2, man. You're not even at level 3. And I was like, true. I have to change it. So it took time and we're changing and it fails. And then again I work on it and it fails and again work on it. And one point of time it will start being a oiled machine which runs by itself.
Wonderful. But a lot of thoughts to ponder for entrepreneurs. I would recommend entrepreneurs to watch this multiple times because different time when they're facing different type of problems, they will find different type of solutions from the same podcast. Yes. But when you repeatedly watch a couple of times, you'll have wonderful ideas coming in, implement. And I would recommend all of them to connect to you if they're looking that they have a company, something which can become unicorn and they feel that if they're struggling right now, let them stabilize, but at least they think they want to level up to next level, to the highest level, to grow franchisees or any next level they're looking for. They will reach out to you and...
Yeah, that would be... So I normally say, the bright spot fun area is when valuations are around 50 crores.
Yeah.
Which is not very big in today's world in the startup sphere. 50 crores though is just not even angel funding.
So all those people will reach out.
So those are the right people because that's the right stage at which this higher level discussion can set them up to at least start jumping up levels.
I would also recommend everyone of them who are listening to attend your trainings on business strategy at least. Okay. They start learning, brushing up their own things and before they get into the engagement.
See, every discussion should lead to at least one point that you take away. And that's I think, and more than that is really difficult. Sometimes one point you take away and you start working on that gives you that. Even if you do it 1%, there's this thing saying no. If you do something better 1% per day.
Yeah, then
At the end of the year, you're doing 3 times better. It's 360%.
I have a habit of when I read a book or look at the podcast for learning, I have something called Wow Diary.
Yes, wow.
Wow Diary. So
Yeah.
this diary is nothing but the
Just
wow
ideas.
learnings. Wow learnings. So I have a diary. I love wow moment in this podcast with Bharat is this 1, 2, 3. Not many.
Yes.
3, 4 what comes in. And now this wow diary is filled with ideas which I loved and punched in, and when I do spend Saturday 2 hours only for thinking how can we grow 10 times this year, which is like stupidity. एक साल में 10 गुना कैसे कर सकते हैं? But only stupid people change the world. So
Yeah.
I love Einstein for that.
Yeah. So at least you're aiming less than 365%.
Yeah. So
that's, I would say that's fabulous.
So I spent 2 hours just thinking what miracles I can bring in which can double up, triple up, 4 times the speed this year. And
I think that's the job of the business owner.
Yeah.
Nobody else can do it for them.
And I don't do it in office. I go sit in one of my favorite coffee shops, wherever I am, and sipping coffee. And I don't take anyone. I just diary in me. I don't even pick up my phone. But that dedicated time gives me sometimes some ideas which are
very good. Yeah. For this, I agree with Robin Sharma. Whenever I have to do any work of this sort of creative work, I have to wake up early in the morning at 5. Okay. I don't care. I just wake up out of the bed, put my head under the in the basin with the water on me, get up over there and start working on it. Don't even think of tea, coffee, and that. My first 1 hour is straight grind, and then I go reach for my cup of coffee.
So another book for everyone is 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Though I can say your 5 a.m. I've always felt your 5 a.m. can start at 7 a.m. also. The idea is how much time do you need. So if you need 2 hours. 2 hours before your first phone will ring is your 5 a.m. club. Because that's the whole idea, that you have 2 hours for yourself. So,
so wonderful discussion, and we can keep going couple of hours more.
I guess so. Yes, we should at one point of time start thinking of wrapping
now,
up.
But we'll definitely have another podcast soon on in depth. We'll see what kind of comments people are getting, what they need more.
Yes.
And we always believe in what people need, we'll do.
Perfect.
So let's see how much, what kind of comments we're getting, what they want to listen more, and we'll
that makes sense because it's such a vast field.
Vast field, yes. But thank you very much for joining in.
Thank you for having me here. It was great, and I've learned things also with talking with you. I'm just figuring it out which one should I put now in ABC. So perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye, everyone.